folks, CJ here, doing another movie review, and this time I am going to be talking about the new movie that is coming out this weekend, Den of Thieves. It is directed by Christian, was it Jugast, and it stars Gerard Butler, 50 Cent, Pablo Schreiber, O'Shea Jackson Jr., I think Lewis Tan is in it, Cooper Andrews, Evan Jones, and yeah. So I would say this: I had some trepidations about this movie, and here, well, let me back up here. If I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't really have trepidations. That'd be dumb of me to say I did have trepidations. Excuse me, I'm a little under the weather. I'm getting over a cold. So if I sneeze or I'm doing a lot of sniffing, it's because I'm getting over a cold. So I had interviewed Cooper Andrews last year at AwesomeCon, and he mentioned, this movie that he was going to be a part of, and he told me it was like going to be O'Shea Jackson Jr. and Gerard Butler and all that stuff, and I was curious and stuff. So one of the things, and this is something that me and Dee had talked about and stuff, is a lot of movies do this thing where they're trying to, as I always call it, chasing the dragon. What I mean by chasing the dragon is that a lot of action movies try to copy an iconic action movie. And in this movie's case, it's trying to be like Heat. And it comes across as like a low end version of Heat. I would say, much like how a lot of action movies try to be like Heat, I would say this movie it almost gets it. Um, and when you come away from the movie, you end up, at least for me, I came out of the movie like, yeah, it was all right. It's not bad. So they had that going for itself. And two, you telling me 50 Cent's in it. Now look, I don't hate 50 Cent as an actor. I feel he's competent, but I'm not gonna sit there and say that he's the greatest, actor ever. I know a lot of people will like to sit there and be like, well, CJ, what about that movie where he played an AIDS victim or whatever? And I'm like, okay. Uh, so 50 Cent's in it, and you're like, And Gerard Butler kind of has that stigma about him because let's be real about this. Gerard Butler's coming off of Geostorm, and that was a pretty shitty movie. So it was just a recipe for just like, what is this movie gonna do? And then when you watch this movie, you end up kind of like, okay. And there's a twist in the movie that you start kind of early on in the movie, and it's particularly the twist involves O'Shea Jackson Jr. But like you start if piecing together certain things, particularly with O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s character, and the build up to that big twist, because there's a lot of things in this movie you're going to presume. You're going to presume, oh, this is going to happen. So the basic premise is a group of thieves consists of 50 Cent, Pablo Schreiber, O'Shea Jackson Jr., Evan Jones. They are a group of thieves. They've been pulling off heists for so many years and such. And at the outset of the movie, they rob a Federal Reserve truck. And it kind of sets the motion Gerard Butler's character, Big Nick, as they say. And this movie does certain things like put the name of the characters like right there, like Merryman. Merryman is Pablo Schreiber's character, and Big Nick, things like that. And it's just like, okay, movie, you didn't have to do that. But again, nothing annoying or anything like that. So it sets the motion. Big Nick, Gerard Butler's character, he is basically on the case to try to find these thieves, and he ends up busting O'Shea Jackson Jr., his character Donnie, and that kind of sets the motion the whole plot of the movie, where essentially these thieves are out to rob the Federal Reserve. So as this movie is going and such, and you see how they play out, like how they're going to plan to hit the Federal Reserve, which let's be real about this, if you know anything about the Federal Reserve, it is physically impossible to rob them, period. There's no way you can rob the Federal Reserve. No way. So with the way this movie does it, you kind of go along with it like, okay, there's clearly a plan of action and stuff. And when you see it in motion, it's like, okay, that's actually pretty good. But it all plays up to this big plot twist of the movie and such, and it's actually not bad. Again, the plot twist isn't bad. I would say if you do a lot of thinking, you still wouldn't see it coming. But then when you see how the twist plays out, everything in the movie just starts being like, oh, okay, and this and that. Now, am I saying the movie gets to a point of being, how should I say, too long for it and such for this, because mm, I would say yeah, it is, because this movie clocks in at about 140 minutes. That's 2 hours and 10 minutes. That's a long ass time to be in a theater for this movie. And there are certain points in this film that you feel the length, and it didn't really need to be that long. But again, when you see how everything plays out, it's like cool. There are certain times where you're just like, okay, you didn't really need this and stuff like that, and you shrug, but it was still kind of like, yeah, you didn't need that part. You didn't have to do this. You didn't have to do that. Um, but if I had the thing of it is, despite it having a twist, I had some gripes about this movie. So Gerard Butler's character, Big Nick, I talked about this during Proud Mary, and the fact that I at times don't mind tropes in a movie if you can execute it well. If you can make me believe and feel some sort of sympathy for your character, depending on what exactly they're doing and such. In Proud Mary, I actually did like Taraji and the kids' connection and stuff. Yeah, she was a piece of shit person, but I actually didn't mind their connection. It was actually pretty good. This movie, Big Nick is a piece of shit person, straight up and down. And it's just at the outset when you see him, from the moment you see him, you already know he's a piece of shit person. He's a typical tropey cop where it's like, oh, he's a cop that does stuff outside the law, and his marriage is on the rocks, and he's a piece of shit husband, and and the movie illustrates his piece of shitness and stuff. And then it gets to a point in the movie where, he's bawling out crying. And I'm like, movie, he didn't know. He didn't earn that. He's a piece of shit person. Like, you gonna sit there and try to get me to gain sympathy for this guy because he fucked his marriage up? It's just one of those things where it's like, I don't care for his character. It's kind of like, and again, he's not the greatest of detectives. I'm sorry. Like, it's, you know, Pablo Schreiber's character, Merriman, is basically outwitting him throughout this movie. He is outwitting him at every moment. And Big Nick is, Butler, the way he plays his character is very sloppy in how he goes about trying to bust this group and do all this. And really, it's like he makes it known that he knows what they're up to, but he does it in a very sloppy way where you're like, really? Like, why are you doing this? Why? Like, this is stupid, in a group of his guys, they're the typical cops that do shit above the law, beating the shit out of criminals in order to get info and all those things. And it's like, and you hate them because it's like, you guys are really doing all this and stuff just to get information and stuff, especially particularly when they him up O'Shea Jackson Jr. So, again, I don't care for his character. Um, I talked about 50 Cent and stuff and how he's a competent actor. In this, he he didn't really do anything crazy or anything. He just kind of played a very subdued person. There was a point in the movie where we find out he has a family and he has a daughter, and he does the whole, his daughter's going out to prom, and he was like, yeah, for 16 years, I protected her, and now you're going to protect her at night. And he's doing the intimidating thing. And I'm like, ha, 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 and it's like, okay, I guess that's the movie trying to get a funny moment, but did you really need it? Not really, but whatever. Like I said, 50 Cent, he's serviceable in this movie. He isn't really doing much of anything that's like crazy out of pocket. Same thing with Evan Jones. Cooper Andrews, the whole Thieves squad and stuff. They do their job to capable and stuff. Louis Tan is in this movie as like a security guard at the Federal Reserve, and it's like a very funny moment where he's just scowling at O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s character and Donnie and stuff, and it's just hilarious. And you're just like, oh, he's in this movie. All right, cool, yeah. So when I say this movie is like a low budget Heat, yeah, there comes a point where we get the obligatory gun shootout scene. And when you see it, it's like, oh yeah, it's trying to be like Heat, and it does a lot of crazy stuff. The gunfight is actually not bad. It does its job, and it builds up to this, as I dub it, the quote unquote, the big moment, and it's like, all right, fine, we get this big moment and stuff. And in the middle of all this and stuff, like I said, that's when the movie hits the big twist. And like I said, I gotta be real about this. To be honest with you, you really don't see it coming in the way that you think it is, because you might be going in your head thinking, okay, it's going to go this way because we've seen this before in other movies, and then the movie decides, oh no, I'm going to go opposite way and I'm going to do this. And it's actually not bad. I'm not going to sit there and say it's the greatest twist ever, but it's actually not bad of a twist. It goes along the lines of what we've seen before in terms of showing that kind of like sleight of hand type trickery, so to speak. But that we've seen it before, but then it basically twists it around to where you really don't see it coming. So I know I'm overselling the twist and stuff, but I really think it was actually not bad of a twist. I honestly God didn't see it coming and stuff. That's a genuine surprise for me. Um, but yeah, overall, like I said, the movie wasn't that bad. It was not that bad. If I really had to give it a score, I'd give it 3 out of 5. Would I necessarily pay $13 to go see it? Probably not. I mean, it's just, it comes off like kind of like a cable direct to DVD movie, so to speak, and stuff. It looks like a direct to DVD movie in terms of like the actors that's in it and stuff, And I know Gerard Butler's in it, but I can see this being like spawning sequels like Den of Thieves 2 and things like that. So don't be surprised if you look on your DVD shelves at a Best Buy or you're online and you find out Den of Thieves gets a sequel that goes direct to DVD because it feels that way and such. And I mean, like I said, it's an okay movie and stuff. Like I said, I can say I enjoyed it. Um, but like I said, it's bootleg heat, and I think in terms of a lot of action movies that have been trying to be like Heat, I would say this kind of sort of comes the closest a bit in terms of how they were going about it, and I think the twist helps it a bit. So it was an okay movie, 3 out of 5. I guess you could say go see it and such, check it out. You're probably there's a possibility you'll enjoy it for the most part. It's an okay movie. It's an alright. It's a serviceable movie. There's nothing more to really elaborate on and such. Like I said, to be honest with you, just backing up though, Gerard Butler, his character has to be the worst detective ever, at least to me, because it's just he does a lot of out of pocket shit, and it was just dumb. I'm sorry for going back to that, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, But like I said, it's just those little nitpicks aside, the movie overall was actually not bad. It was like I said, good, serviceable. The way they plot out the heist and stuff, again, it's impossible to rob the Federal Reserve, but I like how they planned it all out and stuff, and it works. Again, there's a bit when you get to the finale of this movie, there's a lot of misdirection. There's a lot of twists and turns that you don't see. Again, you don't see coming, and I think for the most part, it succeeds in what it's trying to do and such. So yeah, Den of Thieves, 3 out of 5. I guess I wouldn't say go see it for $13. I would say maybe go see it during the day, pay your $6, $7 or whatever, and you'll probably come out of it like, oh, it wasn't that bad. So yeah. So that being said, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube, subscribe to this channel, this YouTube channel. This will definitely mean a lot. And be sure to go to our website, 3blackgeeks.com. Check out all the new episodes we got posted up there. If you listen to our podcast, and stuff, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and every other place and stuff. And also subscribe to our 3Black Geeks recaps and discussions and stuff on all the platforms and stuff. You won't want to miss it. So, yeah, Den of Thieves, 3 out of 5. I'll put that in the maybe check it out kind of thing and stuff. So, but anyways, check you guys later. Peace.